Hello, hello, hello. I am DJ Tay coming at you with the Unit 4 Summative Part 2 Study Guide. Okay, so I'm going to jump right in. Number one, Maya has $75 to buy 3 soccer balls for the soccer team. Write an expression to show the amount of money she will have left if each soccer ball costs S dollars. So something to think about. I tell my students to think of this as if they are at the store themselves. And so that means that if I have $75 like Maya in my pocket and I need to buy 3 of these balls, but I don't know how much they cost, then I'm going to be doing some subtraction here. I'm going to hand the cashier, or Maya's going to hand the cashier $75, and they're going to subtract out the cost of those soccer balls times 3. So let's set this up as 75 minus 3s. Okay, number 2, write an expression that is equivalent to 28r plus 21m. So this is giving you some factoring. We learned factoring recently, and I told my kiddos that it was like using an Uno reverse card to bring this back to looking like a distributive property problem. So I like to go ahead and do a few steps here. Let me show you. So first I notice that I have 2 terms here. So I have 28r and I have 21m. Okay, so now I'm going to set up my framework, adding that addition symbol because that's what I'm doing there. And these lines, that's where I'm going to fill in my information, okay? So first I notice that I have 2 variables here. I have the variable of r. I see in my terms both of them do not have a variable of r. So that means they don't have that in common, so it's not going outside of my parentheses. Now I see a variable of m, and both of them do not have m, so therefore an m is not going in outside of my parentheses. So this means in order to find what's common, I am going to look at my 28 and my 21, and I am finding the greatest common factor of these 2 numbers. Just in case you forgot how to do that, let's go ahead and use the listing method. So what goes into 21? I know 1 does. I know that 3 does when it's multiplied by 7. And so 7. And I know that 21 does. Okay, so 1, 3, 7, and 21. So let's go to 28. And for 28, I'm going to write these in pairs this time, just in case you learned how to do this as well for 28. So first, for the factors of 28, I know that 1 can go into 28 when it's multiplied by 28. I know that 2 can go into 28 when it's multiplied by 14. All right, do you guys see how this is going? I know that, for example, 4 can go into 28 when it's multiplied by 7. Okay, so now I have all of my factors of 28 as well. So let's see the ones they have in common. They both have a 1 in common. Very good. Let's see, not a 3, not a 28. Ah, look at that. Not a 2, not a 14, not a 4. But they do both have a 7. And that is the greatest one they have in common because that 7 is greater than that 1. So that means that 7 is what's going outside of my parentheses because that is what both of these have in common. So now I'm thinking what has to multiply against 7 here to get to the term 28r. So to get to 28, I know that I have to multiply that 7 by 4. But don't forget the r. So that means I'm multiplying that 7 by 4r. Let's go to the next term. I have to get from 7 to 21m. Well, I multiply 7 by 3 to get to 21, but I need to remember that m. So that means I am multiplying by 3m. So my final answer is 7 on the outside of the parentheses is being multiplied by 4r plus 3m. All right, and that will give us equivalent to 28r plus 21m. Let's look at the next one. Which expression is equivalent to 8 on outside of parentheses is being multiplied by 4n plus 7n? So I see a few options here. Okay, I see a 4 out here, 8n plus 7n, and I'm like, oh man, it almost looked the same, right? I see out here that I have 4n times 8m plus 14n. I have 224mn, and I have 32m plus 7n. Guys, the trick to this one really isn't a trick at all. The best way to find out what is equivalent to this is to go ahead and simplify it using the distributive property. So I'm going to multiply 8 times 4m, and I get 32m. Now I'm going to put my addition symbol, and now I am distributing the 8 to 7n, and 8 times 7, and guys, you should know this is 56, but not forgetting that n. All right, so this is what I have to check to see if any of these others will match this. Let's check and see. 4 times 8m will give me my 32m. Now let's see, 4 times 7n, that will only give me 28n. Look guys, that does not match our original problem. Okay, that does not match our original problem. Let's go to, let's see, 224mn, for one, m, 32m, and 56n, these are not like terms. They have different variables. All right, so this is like 32 Milky Ways and 56 Reese's Pieces packs. They're not going to suddenly become 224 of something. Okay, so I can eliminate this answer. Let's look at the next one, 32m plus 7n. Look at that, guys. It's not a match either. So I am just left with B, but we're still going to check it. 4 times 8m is 32m plus 4 times 14n. You might have to throw that into the calculator, but that equals 56n. And do we have a match? We do. So our answer is B. All right, number 4, the cost of renting a storage space is $75 plus an additional $1.50 for each person added to the rental agreement. Write an expression to represent the cost of renting the storage space for P people. So we do not know how many people, and that is what varies. You may have a different amount of people than I would when we're standing in line to go ahead and rent a storage space. So, but what is common for all of us is that it's going to be $75, all right, plus an additional $1.50 per person for each person, guys. So that means I am multiplying that $1.50 times however many people I have. And that is our final answer there. Number 5, write the following statement as an expression. 7 subtracted from the quotient of m and 2. 7 subtracted from. Okay, so I see that subtracted from, this means that I have my subtraction, but it's saying it's being subtracted from it. So, subtracting 7. And it says the quotient of m and 2. So, the quotient of m and 2 is m divided by 2. So, my final answer will be m divided by 2 minus 7. Or you might see it as m/2 minus 7. Or m divided by 2 minus 7. There are many ways you can write this, but this is how this works, okay? Number 6, write an algebraic expression to represent the phrase 3 less than the cost of a pair of pants P. So I see a phrase here, less than, and we know that less than is another joker phrase. So that means whatever is going to happen, I have my 3 here, but it's going to become over here. And I know that less than is subtraction. And it says less than what? The cost of a pair of pants, P. So we don't know the cost of the pair, so we are just using P as our variable there. So P minus 3 is the answer. Number 7, m more than 8. It says write an expression to match the statement above. We have another joker phrase, more than. And more than tells us that we are adding. But the m comes first, so we are switching it to over here. And m more than what? More than the original 8. So our answer is 8 plus m. Number 8, write an expression that is equivalent to 8 being multiplied by m plus n in those parentheses, and then minus 3m. So I see here I have a distributive property problem here, so I'm going to take care of that first before I get into my minus 3m. So let's distribute that 8. 8 times m is 8m plus, distributing my 8 to my n, 8 times n is 8n. And now I can bring down my minus 3m. So I have some things that I could combine here. So I'm going to first look for terms that I have in common. I'm going to look at my first term. And in my first term, it is 8m. And I'm looking to see, do I have a term that has an m as well only with no exponent on it? And yes, I do. But here's what's important. Remember, when you capture to move this 3m, you have to keep the our operation symbol so that you know what you're doing here. We're not adding 3m to that 8. We're subtracting. Okay? So I have my 8m minus 3m, and that gives me 5m. So now I have done my 5m, and what do I have left here? Plus 8n. So 5m plus 8n is my final answer. Number 9, write an expression that is equivalent to 2r plus 6t plus 9s plus r plus 7s. Do not freak out with this, guys. We're going to take it one step at a time. So let's look at our first term. We have 2r. So we are looking for other terms that are the same. We're identifying what is in common. So we have 2r, and that's a t there, so that doesn't work. S there, nope, another s. So here is plus r. And we know that because it has that plus r, that we understand that means it is being plus just one of the r's, okay? So I'm going to do some collecting. So 2r plus 1r gives me 3 of the r's, okay? So now let's do a little more collecting. Let's look at the next term. It says plus 6t. Okay, so far we're summarizing. We have our 3r. I don't have another t. I don't have another one. So I'm just going to drop this down into my final summary because I don't have anything to combine with it. Let's look at the next term. Is plus 9s. Plus 9s. So I'm looking to see, do I have another term that matches it? And I do. It says plus 7s. So let's bring that over here. So I have 9s plus 7s, and that equals 16s. So I am adding that 16s to my final summary. So my final answer is 3r plus 6t plus 16s. Number 10, which expression is equivalent to 6b plus 2c plus 4b? Okay, so before, this is like the previous problems where we had to do some combining first, okay? And then we have to do some simplifying, and then we're going to see what matches. So let's identify what terms match. So looking at my first term, I have 6b, and I'm going to identify what is a like term. I know 2c isn't, but plus 4b is. So my 6b plus 4b equals 10 of the b's, okay? So, and then my last term here is plus 2c, and I don't have anything to combine with that because that's all that's left. So in my final summary, I have 10b plus my 2c. Okay, so now I have this all simplified. Okay, this is simplified, but I need to see what here is equivalent to that. All right, so right off, I know I'm going to go through and just show you why these other ones don't work. So you may think, oh, look at that, 10b squared plus 2c, because this was not squared, so that is not the correct answer. Look, that we're going to have to work it out and see if it works, right? Let's look at this one, 12bc. No, we're not going to all of a sudden combine two things, all right? We're not going to combine two things that are not alike. So 12bc is not it. And then look at this one. This one almost got me, guys. 10 plus 2c, but that means that the b was forgotten, so this cannot be the answer. We're eliminating answers that do not make sense, right? So let's check this one just in case. Let's distribute the 2 to that 5b. 2 times 5b gives us 10b. We're going to add. Okay, and now let's distribute that 2 to the c. 2 times c is 2c. And look at that, guys. We are back to 10b plus 2c. So our answer here is answer B. Okay, guys, I know that you are going to do wonderfully on your test tomorrow. Please rewatch this study guide so that you feel more confident and comfortable in what you are preparing for tomorrow. All right, guys, have a great day.